This content is based on facts for educational purposes. We do not intend to defame any company. Logos are omitted for copyright.
You ever feel like your resume just gets launched into a black hole? Well, you are not alone. Let's be real, the modern job hunt can feel like a full-time job that you don't even get paid for. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the biggest reasons why it's so frustrating: the explosion of fake job postings. It's a kind of corporate gaslighting that wastes your time and, frankly, messes with the entire market. Okay, get this. This quote from a user on Reddit. It might seem completely wild, but if you've been job hunting anytime recently, it probably feels painfully true. It's a number that just validates that feeling in your gut that something is seriously broken. And this isn't just a few bad companies, you guys. We're talking about a systemic problem.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll dive into that shared misery of the application black hole. Then, we'll define what a ghost job actually is. We're going to uncover the real motives behind them, look at the very real psychological cost, and finally, check out how people are starting to fight back.
All right, first up, the application black hole. I mean, that name just perfectly captures the feeling, right? You spend all this time crafting the perfect application, you send it out into the void, and then just silence. As one person put it, it's a graveyard full of ghosts. And look, this is no exaggeration. You go on any forum, any social media platform, and the story is exactly the same. You've got people with years of solid experience saying they sent out 100, maybe 200 applications and got, what, 4 responses back? It is so demoralizing, and it makes you start to question everything about yourself. But, as we're about to see, the problem isn't you. So let's put a name to the thing that's causing all this frustration: the ghost job. Yep. It's that listing that looks perfect, the one you spend hours tweaking your resume for, but it was never really there in the first place. At its very core, a ghost job is a flat-out deception. It is corporate gaslighting on a huge scale, designed to make you believe there's a real opportunity when in reality, there's absolutely nothing. And it turns out these ghost jobs come in a few different flavors. You've got your evergreen requisitions. Those are posed for high turnover jobs that companies just never take down, so they always have resumes coming in. Others are basically just market research, but the most cynical reason of them all, faking growth. So this brings us to the big question. Why on earth would a company lie? Why do this? Well, the answer reveals a really deep manipulation of not just the job market, but the financial market too. This quote from Reddit absolutely nails the most insidious motive. We're not just talking about keeping HR busy. No, this is about manufacturing the appearance of success. Think about it. A company that's hiring looks like it's growing, like it's thriving, and that perception, it's worth a whole lot of money. Here's the playbook. It's actually pretty simple. Step 1, flood job boards with these ghost positions. Step 2, point to the so-called hiring spree as proof of explosive growth. And step 3, use that manufactured image to go out and impress investors, get big bank loans, or even pump up their own stock price. Your wasted time literally becomes their financial gain. Now, of course, not every single ghost job is part of some grand financial scheme. Sometimes the reasons are a little more mundane, but they're just as disrespectful. Things like trying to motivate current employees by making it seem like the company's always looking for top talent, or maybe just giving the HR department something to look busy with, or honestly, just being too lazy to take old listings down. Okay, let's talk about the real-world impact, because this isn't just some abstract economic problem. This whole practice of posting fake jobs and then ghosting candidates, it has a profound psychological effect on millions of people. And the danger here is actually growing. The same environment that lets ghost jobs thrive also opens the door for straight-up scams. The Federal Trade Commission reports that financial losses from these scams have tripled in just 3 years. This whole culture of deception makes job seekers incredibly vulnerable. There's just this massive gap between how things should be and how they actually are. Recruitment is supposed to be about mutual respect, right? Instead, ghosting turns it into an exercise in disrespect and dehumanization. It treats applicants not as people, but as data points to be collected and then just thrown away. And you know, sometimes the simplest statements are the most powerful. This quote from an exasperated job seeker on Reddit, it just sums up how everybody feels perfectly. The anger, the frustration, it's all valid because the whole practice is fundamentally disrespectful and just plain wrong. But the story doesn't end with frustration. People are starting to recognize this for the systemic problem that it is, and they're organizing. They're starting to fight back against the fakes and hold these companies accountable.
So what does that fight even look like? Well, it's actually happening on a few different fronts, from state governments all the way to the startup world.
The pushback is basically a three-pronged attack. First, you've got legislation. States like California, Kentucky, and New Jersey are actually looking at laws to force companies to be more transparent. Second is technology, with ideas like Verify Hire, which wants to create a verified badge for legitimate jobs. And third, and maybe the most direct, is community. Crowdsourced websites like ghosted.com are popping up, letting users call out the companies that ghost them.
If there's one thing, just one thing you take away from all this, let it be this. Your frustration is valid. It is completely justified. The exhaustion, the self-doubt you feel when you're job hunting, it's a symptom of a broken manipulative system. It is not a reflection of your worth.
And that leaves us with one final question to chew on. As this problem gets bigger, where should the responsibility really fall? Should we be demanding that companies clean up their act and start being honest? Or are we just entering a new world where every single job applicant has to become their own private detective just to find a real opportunity?